When I first started this channel, I had a couple of games that I really enjoyed, and I thought I was really lucky to be able to play them, so I thought, why not put them on YouTube for other people to enjoy?
Hello everyone, my name is the Fooster and welcome to a brand new game on the channel. This is a game called The Forest. Now if you don't know anything about this game, I'll make it very clear from the start. This is still in alpha version, so it's not the finished product yet. I'm playing version 11C as of today because I purchased the game at least 15 minutes ago. It cost me £10 if you're from the UK. If you're from the US or anywhere else, I think that equates to around $14, something around that mark. Now, I can't stress enough, I haven't changed anything. Nothing in the options menu, not even tested it on recording, nothing. So I don't even know if this thing's working right now. I'm going to play this game completely live and try and get first impressions on what you guys, and as well myself, what we think of the game.
At this point, doing YouTube full-time was always a dream that I honestly never thought possible. At the time, I was working a job from 8 o'clock in the morning all the way through up until the early hours, and I really mean up until the early hours, but any free time that I had was spent doing the thing that made me feel the happiest, which was making videos.
So hello everyone and welcome to The Forest. This is a game I've been dying to play for such a long time. Now, at the same time, this is a game that I think would suit me well in order for me to communicate with you guys, because since the channel started around, I'd say just over 4 weeks now, I actually started the channel because I play games as a hobby, and with the games that I play, most of the time I thought, you know what, this is quite a nice looking game, or this is something different, so why not post it to YouTube and see what everybody thinks. And with that, since then, I've had 4 subscribers join the channel, which is absolutely incredible, guys. I can't thank you enough, guys, for subscribing to the channel. It just, honestly, it's like one of the biggest compliments you can get when you set out to do things like this, especially commentary, which a lot of people shy away from because it is nerve-wracking and you don't know what expectations that people have of you, or you know how your commentary is going to go. Then it's just a huge compliment when you actually gain.
I enjoyed it so much, I would actually skip sleep some nights and teach myself to edit, because at this point, I was closing in on 100 subscribers, so I wanted to give people watching an escape just as much as YouTube gave me. Without making this sound overly emotional, I wasn't really in the best place in life, as not long around this time, my dad suddenly passed away. In all honesty with you guys, I went to a really dark place, and to be brutal, I really didn't see myself getting back to my old self, at least anytime soon. He was everything to me, and always supported me in everything that I did, so to lose him just out of the blue took a really heavy toll on me, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have felt if you've ever lost someone you love very much. Before he passed away, we had a conversation, and I told him all about YouTube and how excited I was to do it, and how people from all across the world would find my videos, enjoy the games with me, which he thought was just simply amazing. And the last thing that he said to me before I left was that he was really proud of me and I should do what makes me happy. And that was the last time I saw him. It's taken me a really long time to come to terms that he's no longer here, but I guess it's quite simply life. Make the most of it while you can, and let your loved ones know how much they mean to you, as much as possible. After putting some time in and making some videos, I realized that there were some people that were sticking around, so I wanted something with a little more power. So I saved up for a mid-level gaming PC, which cost me £700. And this thing became my pride and joy. It was ugly, it didn't have a side case with the cool glass on it so you could see all the components. It was really loud, it was always overheating, but I loved it, I really did. I actually had a little bit of money saved over, so I went and bought a desk, a new monitor, and it wasn't much, but here's an image of what it looked like. I even bought some blankets that would act as some sound dampening too, because I was getting a little bit technical at this point. So a couple more years passed, and more people chose to spend their time watching the videos. I was working all the hours possible just to save for new equipment or even a new place where I could have a little more room. Every waking minute I would be thinking about YouTube, and I really mean that, and how I could do things better, or if I could get home early and just record some stuff. Then I hit 75,000 subscribers, and even though I didn't realize it at the time, I was making more money on my YouTube channel than I was in my actual full-time job, even though I would be pulling 14 to sometimes 18-hour shifts. I knew I had to make a decision at this point. So I did. And the next week, I handed in my notice and I left that place in the past forever. It was absolutely terrifying, but I spent the entire day smiling because I was about to do something I never thought possible. Now, the next year was kind of tough because I was having to learn as I go, because I decided to take on something I never really knew all that much about. I was a little bit naive with that. But thankfully, the subs kept climbing and we eventually hit 100,000 subscribers. Now, this really was the big one for me, as when I first hit that 100 subscribers, I remember telling myself how amazing it would be by looking at that number if one point in the future we could hit 100,000 subscribers, and we just did it. I eventually received my 100k plaque, and I don't mind telling you guys, I shed a couple of tears, maybe more than one or two, mainly because it was such a huge achievement for me, but mainly because I couldn't stop thinking about how badly I wanted my dad to see this. I grabbed that thing and put it straight on my wall, and to this day, it is still one of my proudest achievements because of the story behind it. So, from this time span, I was fully committed to doing YouTube as much as I possibly could. I was honestly the happiest I'd ever been, apart from one problem. I just kept getting sick. Over the course of about 3 to 5 years, I'd been having pretty serious stomach problems alongside infections. I kept putting it down to poor diet or possibly having something like IBS because Google told me that's what I had, and I didn't really think too much about it until I woke up one day and I had to call an ambulance because it felt like a red-hot poker was in my gut, and it was getting more and more intense every single minute. It was by far the most intense pain I'd ever experienced in my life. Eventually, after having I don't know how many tests, I was surrounded by, I think it was 5 doctors at the time. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was preparing for the worst. I really didn't know what was wrong, but it was serious enough to have that many people around me. So they hit me with the news that I had 2 perforations, and they were pretty serious as well. So I was needed to be kept in for observation because they were really worried about where they were and if they would heal on their own or if I would need surgery. But the perforations were caused by something called diverticular disease. I did make a full recovery from the perforations, but at the time I was told that my disease couldn't be treated and I would more or less have a lifetime of pain management in one way or another. Fast forward a few months and I was only getting worse and worse. It was infection after infection, and I eventually found out that my bladder had a hole in it and I was peeing blood. And I don't mind telling you guys, I was completely terrified at this point. I genuinely felt like my body was just completely giving up on me, out of the blue too, like this has just come out of nowhere. I had one last hope, which was a doctor that was recommended to me by a doctor at the hospital, where at this point I was basically calling home. Now, I don't really know how to put this into words, but unless it's really happened to you, I don't think you will feel the relief that I felt at this point, so I'll try and explain it. After one meeting with this doctor, he basically stopped me talking in the middle of my sentence and he said, "Stop worrying. I know what's wrong with you and I can fix you. Not only your pain, but I can get rid of the problem that you have." Now, to hear this was as much as a shock as being told that I had the disease, because I was told this was untreatable. Now, I think I might have sounded a little bit too eager to get the surgery done, but I couldn't wait for it, and in hopes of fixing this thing that was just taking my body away from me. Most of you know what happened and how it went, but just in case you don't, this is the message that I put out when I just had the surgery, literally right as I woke up from the anesthetic. I was incredibly lucky to have such an amazing community behind me, because I know I was super frustrated with the lack of videos. Even though I was trying my best, I know it was nowhere near enough that I wanted to get out to the channel, and I'm guessing you guys were too. Even though you don't say it, I know some of you must have been, so thank you for sticking with me, guys. I mean that. Thank you so much. It's such a surreal thing to hear and see that something you've created has attracted 1 million people, enough to want to give you the most precious thing that they have in this life, their time. I honestly don't think that it'll ever really settle in with me that our tiny channel, our small little corner of the internet, now has 1 million people. I get messages all the time from you guys with really touching stories, or just simple comments saying that my videos have become your escape from reality, or to simply give you a smile. But I want you guys to know that you have truly changed my life in more ways than you could imagine. As long as you guys want me here, I promise to do my best to be that distraction from reality, or even just that friendly voice that helps make you forget the bad times. I never, ever thought I would say this, but thank you for 1 million subscribers.